Hey, Nathan here with Achieve Freedom. Just speaking to a client of mine, Nikki. I've worked with her over the last 6 weeks on a whole range of different things, and she's been kind enough to sit down with me and take a couple of minutes to explain all the different things that we've worked through and gone through. She's a little bit camera shy, so we're doing this via audio rather than via video, which is okay. It still gets all the information across, so thank you very much, Nikki.
Yeah, no worries.
And so let's start off. What's been some of the things that I've kind of helped you out with?
To be honest, there are so many, it's really hard for me to kind of expand on everything. So kind of to set the premise of this whole thing, we had met doing NLP and hypnosis, that kind of stuff. So I had a base of knowledge in those fields. I also had a bit of knowledge in the energy, a little bit of knowledge as far as spirituality and energy work and stuff like that. But um, after working with Nathan for the past 6 weeks or so, I feel like I'm kind of next level at this point when it comes to especially understanding the spirituality and energy work kind of aspects and clearing blocks and unwanted unnecessary programs and understanding just how we are meant to be in our essence as human beings. So yeah, a lot of understanding of energy work, the differences between universal energy, prana, like Reiki, how to move energy throughout the body, understanding chakras and stuff like that. Um, it was really, really, really interesting. He's very knowledgeable on that. Also understanding like crystals, how crystals work, how to kind of tap into them. Um, they take you places that you wouldn't expect, and it's the kind of thing that I had always read about or heard about and never really knew how to, I guess, put into practice. Like a lot of this stuff, it's once you actually do it, it's you kind of can't go back from it. You just understand it from a whole new level because like it's a part of who you are instead of just learning knowledge. So yeah, so that was really cool. Also understanding. So I again looking at studying certain things and trying to get information and knowing that these things exist, but never having done them myself. One of those things would be clairaudience, understanding that, and Nathan has kind of shown me how I do have clairaudience, which is really, really cool. And I tap into it via clairsentience. So even saying it, I'm like, it's so new to me. I'm like, that's the right word, right? Because I've always been able to feel that kind of thing, but I never realized just how to use different skills together, like tap into hearing certain things based on a feeling, that you can kind of confirm that you are indeed tapping into what you think you're tapping into based on your other skills. So that was really cool. Let's see. I have a little list, so bear with me because I have a lot of things. Let's see. Oh, understanding how we store traumas in the body. So I knew a little bit of this just based on the work that I've been doing, over the past year or so, just kind of studying up on this kind of stuff. But again, when it comes to what Nathan knows, I feel like it would have taken me years and years to find all the information that he has now implanted in my brain, which is amazing. So thank you. But yeah, so one of those things was how we store trauma in the etheric body and how to release them, all those traumas, how to feel where those traumas are and how to specifically pinpoint those items, and also I guess what you're going to feel as you're releasing them, which can be uncomfortable at times, but you have to go through that and you just do what you have to do, and it's actually not as bad as you think it's going to be. And then you release them, and it honestly, the way I was doing it before, it was like I was doing it like one trauma at a time, but the way that he showed me I was able to do multiple at a time, so it just like made the process go like 1,000 times faster. And normally when I would have to go into traumas, I would like go into the memory and I would feel the feelings and I would like cry it out. That was my way of purging. But with this technique, I don't have to feel those emotions of crying personally. I don't know if that's different per person, but for me with this technique, I I don't have to cry my eyes out, which is amazing. I just have to, release it. So I guess it's just learning the different modalities and finding the one that you like the best. And this is definitely the one that I like the best now. So
Mm. A lot of the work that her and I have done together is having her understand the what I call the models, an aspect of the core state, which is there's the physical side, mental side, emotional side, and the energetic side. And each component have different ways that you can release past traumas, future anxieties, fears, and depending on which technique or which specialty people have or which preferences people have, there's different ways to tap into each of them, which will clear the entire system. And there's little tweaks that I've learned over the last 15 years on how to make things happen more efficiently. As Nikki was saying, rather than working on something one at a time, there's ways of doing things multiple at a time and ensuring that the entire program, including the shell of the program, subconscious program, has been cleared out. Um, so it's a lot of those little tweaks that I've added along the way.
yeah.
Nikki did have a knowledge base beforehand, which was helpful in being able to kind of ramp her up with her knowledge set very quickly. Um,
Instead of me just kind of stumbling on what I found and digging down the rabbit hole, he's just like, "Hey, here's this info."
that's I had to do that for
Yeah.
for a good 7 years. After that, then it started
nicer
to
this
pull it all
way.
together. So it made life a lot easier.
Something that I thought was really cool is so Nathan talks about the core state, which I had no idea even existed, and how we are all, in our essence, we are all one way, and we don't need these programs and blocks. Everything that's on top of that core state, we don't need it, and how to get back to that core state. Um, and it's interesting because like to pick out the programs in the moment that you are experiencing that, like I had kind of started looking into that, but with Nathan, he like it's almost like everything I said, he's like, okay, well that's what that is, and that's what that is, and that's what that is. I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome, now I know, like, and now I'm able to discern what's what without, I don't know, kind of being in the dark about it. I know now for myself instead of, yeah, again, it just makes the process go a lot faster when you're trying to figure all this stuff out on your own, and, instead of doing
Hmm.
that. Oh, something that I had no idea about. I know that you're not supposed to, like, so there's aversions and cravings, talking about aversions.
Hmm.
So I guess, how do I even explain that? I didn't know that you're not supposed to have cravings. Like if you really, really, really want something, that's something you have to release too, not just the negative stuff that's inside of you. You have to release the, the desire, the craving for something that's really, really strong also, because that is a program block,
Yeah,
whatever.
that becomes a block.
Yeah, which I had no idea about.
So in Islamic Sufism, they talk about the difference between having wants and likes, and one of their key philosophies is stop doing what you want, start doing what you like. So it's okay to have quote unquote a desire if it's based in a like rather than in a want, and it's because of that change of state. And there's um, Gnostic Christianity, Taoism, and Buddhism all talk about the same thing. Once you change it from an egoic want to a core state like, then things start happening very quickly. And that's where things like resonance and law of attraction start coming across very quickly. And most people don't get what they're wanting because they're doing it from a state of ego rather than from a state of core.
yeah. Also learning about like energy work. I know I had touched on that with Reiki and prana, but energy work is in terms of like feeling it in the body. We did a little bit of that. We didn't dive in like really really deep, but I did notice differences from from before we met, and that was really interesting. Kind of actually being able to now pull on experiences where I know it exists. So that was cool.
Mm.
Also expanded subconscious communication. So a big part of like NLP hypnosis is subconscious communication, but it's interesting because the way that he does it is very different than the way that I learned to do it, and it's very effective. And it's not a way that I ever would have thought to do it. Like the way that he talks to his clients' subconscious minds, and then it pretty much explains you can do the same thing. So my communication between my conscious and subconscious mind has like grown exponentially since we met, and it's kind of crazy to think that it's only been 6 weeks, but yeah, like I can literally just be like, hey, subconscious mind, like what's up, and it'll tell me. So that's pretty cool. Also, understanding bliss state, which is really cool. I don't know if I mentioned that at all yet, but like resonance.
Yeah, bliss state was something that you had experienced before you had met me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that anybody seemed to have been able to explain what
Mm-hmm.
or why it was there, what it is.
Yeah.
And that's a state that I've been in before, and as
It's
we're working
amazing.
together, um, I'm bringing you back to that while
Yeah.
working on understanding once you're in that state,
Yeah.
these other skill sets are needed so that you stay in that state all the time rather
Yeah.
than being able to peak in and then fall out. And because that's what's happened with me on some of the other states I was attempting to get into. I would get into the state and then I didn't know how to maintain it, and so I'd fall back out. And once you're in what feels like overwhelming love or joy or clear communication throughout the body, and then you don't have that afterwards, like that
Mm-hmm.
brought on a lot of frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about then having a craving to get back into
Yeah.
that state, and now the craving's a block. So
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm I'm taking a lot of the errors that I've learned over the last 15 years and structuring the way that we do things so that these skill sets already in place, once you have core state,
Yeah.
being in bliss state becomes very easy.
Yeah.
And you know how to maintain that regularly.
And I've felt that bliss state. When we talk about bliss state, it's literally like you feel so on top of the world, you can't even deal with your surroundings. You feel euphoric. You feel absolutely amazing. And I've had that over the last few weeks because of, like, I was just talking about the process about purging trauma from the etheric body, which, like, the efficiency of my purging, just like, I don't even know, like, freaking 10 times as fast kind of thing. But from doing what he showed me through purging those things, I was purging so fast that I felt so much lighter because when you release something, you feel really, really light. I say light. I don't really know. It's my resonance. I think most people say lighter, like you're not carrying as much baggage almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, feeling that bliss state like so often in the last little while that you almost can't even deal with your mundane normal life.
It takes an adjustment to get back into the flow of things from that new state.
Yeah.
You still go through the same life. You just do it very differently, and life can start changing dramatically if you choose it to, because at that point in time, your intention becomes more in the moment, and that's where resonance
and more powerful. Like if you are into the law of attraction type stuff, when your resonance is higher like that, like if you're in bliss state 24/7, you're going to have a lot of manifestation power, which that's pretty. And you don't have those blocks because you just got rid of them because you just did all that clearing through that etheric clearing process. So
and your mind's much more quiet, so you don't have to worry about calling on things that you don't want to have.
Yeah.
Once you're in that state, thoughts or feelings of a lower vibration aren't there anymore.
Yeah. So that was huge. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. So
a couple other sessions and we'll get you into that state fully.
I don't know what my work is gonna do with me in that case. Everyone else will be all pissed off. I'll be like smiling.
Her company, or the company that she's working with right now, is going through a little bit of a upheaval.
Yeah.
It's changing
There's been
around
layoffs.
a lot, so
There's been layoffs, and everything's kind of
up in the air.
intense. Yeah, so
And so for her to
tensions are
walk in
high.
with
Yeah,
a
with this
beaming
big
smile
smile
all
on my
the
face, like, "Hey, guys."
time, that could be a bit odd.
So not to touch on specifics, like I don't want to necessarily mention people's names or anything, but like when it comes to like blocks that I've, gone through in the last 6 weeks and cleared, a lot of it was like regarding, previous relationships. I actually, another one was I had a practitioner who did some really awesome work on me, but the after effects weren't ideal, because I've actually found this several times with several different practitioners where they'll put you in like hypnosis, that kind of thing, certain states, and they'll do some really amazing work on you, and you can tell there's shifts. Like you literally go home at night and you're like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like you're bawling your eyes out. Like that's my way of purging generally. So I'd go home and just bawl my eyes out and be like, holy crap, that was amazing. Like I feel so much lighter. I don't have that issue anymore. I don't get triggered anymore by those problems. So it was released. But at the end of it all, it's almost as if they left things unfinished. Like in NLP, well, hypnosis, I suppose, there's things called open loops. And I feel like in these sessions they didn't close those loops completely, or something was left undone. And so after this work was done, I was kind of not feeling like myself. And so I was really happy that I met Nathan at the time I did, because he basically went in and like kind of readjusted things, and like instantly I felt 1,000 times better and more like myself, but not just more like myself, like the way that like all the progress that I had made in the time that I was in those sessions with those practitioners, all of that work was finally able to complete, I guess. So I was able to hit that next level that I was looking to get to, which I have also had an experience where the same thing happened and I didn't have somebody like Nathan to kind of save me afterwards. And it took me, honestly, probably about 6 months before that stuff finally completed, because it hadn't been completed by the initial practitioner. And I, at that time, I didn't understand the process. I was just learning this stuff. So I didn't realize that, like, what was happening, or that something, could have been done. I was just going with the flow, and I'm like, what's wrong with me right now? So that was very nice. A lot of work on, like, I guess, well, this one was really impactful, like accepting the self, loving the self, that kind of thing. Just for various reasons, just different programs when I was younger, and random programs that when I would bring it up, I'd be like, what the hell is this from? It was like, there's some really weird stuff when you start digging around your subconscious mind and your traumas. There's some really weird programs that are out there, that make no conscious sense, or sense to outsiders looking in. But yeah, it was nice to have Nathan to kind of, hey, these are here, help me.
What is this? Why is this there?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's this coming from? Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So, and also, I think this might be the last thing. There was this really cool process that he showed me. I don't remember what you called it. It was about what seeks what.
Oh, yeah. It's called the wholeness process.
Yeah, the wholeness process. That's really cool. If you guys get a chance, ask Nathan to do that, because that was really awesome. Highly recommended. But yeah, I think that's it for all that I can think about now, anyway. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. All right, so that was just a quick conversation with Nikki. She ran through a whole load of things that her and I have talked about and gone through over the last 6 weeks. Just expanding her knowledge and clearing out a fair bit in her to bring her back to a higher sense of self, if I can call it that. Anyways, thank you very much for your time, everybody. Have a good day.